Happy 2024. Happy New Year. Oh, damn sandwich. Okay. We're gonna go on solo. Normally, I don't even really play solo. I haven't been playing that here lately. Normally, I do, but we'll get into that. What are some things I think are really problematic in the terms of pretty much with anything nowadays? I think, what's really problematic nowadays is the narrative that's kind of being out here. The thing I think about most is actual skill. So, realistically speaking, I think about just the average day-to-day basis thing that, we got going on. Like, if we think about pretty much anything that we have going on. Like, if we're talking about dating, we're talking about food, we're talking about entertainment, we're talking about excursions, we're talking about, simple cost accounting, just certain stuff like that, or, your day-to-day net, net difference between net pay and gross pay. I don't think that people are really understanding, the ramifications or the impact of just education or information is being relayed or not being relayed out here. Like, I know people say invest. Right now, it's not the best time to invest. Honestly speaking, I feel like you invest in yourself and your skill set, you'll be good. Like, if you work for yourself with a high income skill, like you're a skilled laborer, like, I don't think that's being a barber. No disrespect. I think there are talented barbers out there, but barbering has become something that it should not be. It didn't start like that, so. What? This is trash. Just so that guy was so low. We'll get to it. But anyway, why do I think a lot of stuff is terrible the way it is today? It has nothing necessarily to do with money. The problem just start with money and then end with money. And it exists strictly for the fact that there's not that much opportunity out here. Like, especially if we're talking about consumer debt and then student loans. Let's talk about student loans, or people want people to go to education and work, 30, 35 years or whatnot. Honestly speaking, working 35 years for a company, that's great. I'm not doing that. I'm not never doing that. There's not that much to learn. And then also, too, I think about certain stuff like, being an employee. You don't really have that much time to accrue. So, honestly speaking, a lot of stuff's not paying the bills, bro. And it has nothing to do with anything that aforementioned with dating, bills, and certain stuff like that. A lot of stuff just exists strictly to, I guess, like, pass on a narrative. Or like the jobs, like the job market. Honestly speaking, the job market is terrible. It's exploitative. Let's face it. If the average person, like, let's say people make $800 a week, that's pretty good. Their take home, $800 a week. Time and a half or something like that. I'm not working overtime, like, nah. I I think for another thing that I was just laughing about to a certain extent, sometimes people are not at a place for a particular skill. They're there for a particular narrative, or we're the best. When people say they're the best or anything, I'm gonna hold them accountable to that across the board. Because a lot of people, they'll just go and say and do anything. We're talking about serious dollars, and we're talking about serious dollars or people spending money left, right, front, and center. The average person is going to want to see, feel, touch, explore, all this type of stuff. So anytime we're talking about excursions or, again, simple counts, I said simple count. We gotta do a simple count, but we gotta do simple cost accounting for like a lot of stuff that's out here. Let's say someone works at an amusement ride operator. Those people are only making $26,000 or less, and their money isn't going to go any higher than that. And particularly, the way I think, I don't think a lot of stuff is sustainable the way it is. Like, a lot of these places, they have all season. Most places have all season. They probably have an event center, or they're doing renovations. A lot of rides and stuff are taken out of commission, or certain stuff. Like, money does not work in the way people. I feel like a lot of people do a lot of convoluted stuff. Like, a lot of people know there's not too many people that are out here going and making a lot of money out here. Like, a lot of people know that. Like, if I think about like Disneyland, California, that's expensive. The average person, the average family cannot afford that. If you're talking about, cost of living, groceries, gas, utilities, you're paying a premium for that. And that premium should not be the premium, but it is the premium. I think particularly when we're talking about, like, enforcing all this type of stuff or any net gains, all that stuff will be gone. Everybody's trying to go to AI. Everybody's trying to automate things. Everybody's literally cutting corners. Everybody's raising their prices. And then, too, I like for places to try to rip people off. I like for places to try to rip people off. And I really love it. Because really, if places have competition and places really don't stay hungry for the actual gift instead of the grift of things, they won't be in business. A lot of people that still go to their head and, like, ego, money, or, just, how can I say, you can't empathize with that. It's just hard for you to do. When we're talking about money or whatnot, too, like, let's say a restaurant. A restaurant is really operating at small profit margins, to be completely honest. And it just depends on the kind of restaurant, how long they've been operating. Are they well past their glory days? This, that, and the third. Like, if I think about, let's say, oh yeah, I'll get to my point. I went to this place. They basically franchised their thing in a watered down. This place has the name of the place, but it's watered down and tarnished. They don't use the same distributor of food this place uses. The only thing they have is the place's signature sauce. It's like in a shack, a hole in the wall. Not really great. You never had it. You actually be surprised that this is calling itself associated with this place, and it's just really terrible. Like, the place has been around since like 1928. Here it is, 2024. And, they gotten away with this restaurant for, like, since, like, 2013. And, honestly speaking, with a lot of stuff that the people have, I'm just not a real big fan of people's restaurants like that nowadays. I'm just not. And then we think about money, what you got to do. The average dining experience and ambiance, I probably won't be back to one of my favorite restaurants. I probably won't eat there for another 2 months. I'm being dead serious. It's just terrible. Terrible. I'm not going back there for another 2 months. And then another thing I'm thinking about on a day-to-day basis is if we're talking about like food, water, or anything like that, or even just the average experience going out to certain places, we know certain people are not well equipped with dealing with the task of customer satisfaction across the board. Like, honestly speaking, no one wants to be upsold anything. A lot of stuff is crap. I'm not afraid to say it's crap. A lot of people are hoping that people don't say a lot of stuff is crap, even though they know it's crap. Like what I'm seeing with a lot of companies, their glory days are gone, or they're still hanging on to a little bit of money that they can get, or a little bit of stuff they can have. Just because everybody's doing something doesn't mean everybody should be doing it. It's not about anything that people think I'm talking about, whether it be OnlyFans or anything that the latest trends. People trying to be influencers, people trying to be food influencers, people trying to be travel influencers, or those little things. Like, a lot of stuff has really gotten crazy and gotten bad. Like, let's take, for instance, the social media and the dating scene. Like, we've literally had a shift philosophically and fundamentally in terms of what we actually have going on. Like, for men, we definitely had people going out here getting, like, hair transplants. Then we had the people going out there, like, bald, and they're getting, like, a wig basically put on the top. And then they're getting the wig basically shaped up, this, that, and the third. And, that's crazy. And then we have a lot of these women and stuff getting BBLs or all these cosmetic surgeries or this, all that. There's nothing wrong with, like, what you call it. If people want to do it. But why are people doing it? That's the ultimate question. And then we have people going out here getting dental procedures. We're going to Chile. We're going to Turkey for teeth or any type of cosmetic procedure. We're going to all of these particular places. But honestly speaking, someone should strike off of someone's head realistically and explain why would anybody want, like if we're talking about Atlanta, we're literally having people go out here and create a BBL outpatient surgery thing in a strip mall. And they have a line of people sitting in a place that basically has the capacity of a nail salon. And they have people sitting outside and getting these people referral or certain stuff. I thought we were going to be done with like Botox fillers. I'm not on no misogyny tip, this, that, and the third. I think a lot of stuff is just crazy. And there's no way to try to explain that or expound upon why this stuff is happening. And I feel like, for the next, I would want to say next, 10 years, a lot of stuff is going to have ramifications. And we're going to see the standard of beauty or the standard of etiquette really change across the board. And we're going to see the standard of business. Like a lot of these people, I don't think a lot of stuff is a flex. Like a lot of people say stuff is a flex, or doing certain stuff. Like you have to, get a BBL, start like a modeling career, like a legitimate modeling career. And then, you know, some people transition to OnlyFans or all this other stuff. And they're going out here popping bottles. They're going out here to all these brunches. A lot of people are paid. They're 100% paid to do what they do. And a lot of ambiance is basically created by people just trying to get paid. And I mean, get paid from what? What do you derive your resources, your happiness, and your enjoyment from? Is it from ripping people off? Is it from becoming part of the problem? Or is it, you know, becoming of what's happening in society as a whole? A lot of people jumped on real estate, talking about that, trying to be a guru, trying to sell people an educational course. Oh, I'm charging $5,000, but for this time only, I'm selling $1,500. To be honest, the certain people are saying, I'm not spending $5,000 on anything at all. I already spent money on like jewelry, this, that, and the third, like jewelry education, because I'm trying to becoming of a jeweler. But in the I will warn people about the prices of certain stuff. Like, you know, me, I think I'm a pretty honest person up front. A lot of these prices for the people see, people paying exorbitant price. I'm not saying, you know, you're not going to make money. But what I'm saying in a traditional sense, a lot of this money and the exorbitant living or extravaganza that people are having comes at a cost. Like, if we think about, particularly with real estate is going through a great reset. Pretty much anything is going through a great reset. The crypto craze, the watch craze, the real estate craze, all that stuff was driven up by people, venture capitalists, and we're seeing that the change of people's business model. Wow. I actually feel anxiety. I haven't felt that in a while. Also, y'all, take care of your mental health with everything that we got going on in terms of just, even with a lot of stuff, like, people are facing eviction, people are getting killed, people are, let's say, even for like small things, just being in the wrong area, a different change in landscape, political climate, not necessarily saying anything, but a lot of actions by people who's going to get someone killed. Particularly, like, let's say, you know, a lot of gains people made in the future. Or let's just say, particularly, we have these corporations coming out here. I was telling someone they didn't really understand what I was talking about in traditional sense. And then another thing I'm still thinking about too, and just the cost of living has not necessarily been adjusted for. Like if you think about on average, let's just say like a salary. I feel like people have to negotiate a salary, people have to be realistic, but if you're not creating or you don't have a good thing that you're actually building, you're not going to make money. And I mean, society, the world runs off money. We can't do anything about it. The only thing we can basically do is exchange our time for money. And we hope that our value, what we create, or what type of service we provide gives us the ideal satisfaction of what we can do out of life, like food. Food has been way too expensive, in my honest opinion. The portions, I feel like, I'm not going to say they have to be, just crazy, but I just don't think that, food and certain stuff lasts. I say 4 years has been relatively good. And the experience or the, ambiance, it's been fooled. Like, people have been fooled. Like, in terms of, just the taste, the flavor profile and the taste. And you did not know what a particular place tasted like, you would be absolutely astonished and enthralled by, the various different type of uniqueness or ununiqueness of a particular thing. Like, if you went to a place, like, let's say Golden Crust. Golden Crust is not real Jamaican food. It's terrible. Well, I won't say it's terrible. It's for a certain type of palate. Are you a brand loyalist? I think their patties and stuff is okay, but past that, it's not a real Jamaican place. It became corporate. It became commercialized. It's just terrible. Like, people in Golden Crust, I like Golden Crust is a New York thing. New York and pretty much South Florida thing. But past that, I don't see it as a real Jamaican place. Like, if you think about rice, peas, jerk chicken, cabbage, and we're literally talking about $15 for that, nah. Wow. I'll play, let's see, like maybe an hour more so I can talk to you guys. Another thing that I have a problem with too is corporate plans. Are people who are trying to engage or push a narrative of the fact that things are going good, like job growth, the news, the media, the publication. And, the thing about certain stuff, we've forgotten what journalism, true journalism is. We have people out here making themselves a fool out of a syndicated, let's say a syndicated show. We have people cutting off people in terms of getting their point out. Either it's not necessarily, it's more subtle. Like people are talking about the student loan debts. A lot of people think, basically, think tanks or, thought leaders or anybody that's out there, they're promoting certain stuff or they're promoting a certain agenda. Like, I agree with student loan forgiveness because part of student loans is really predatory because at the end of the day, we know that particularly certain schools are costing a lot of money. And it's not necessarily anything bad. Like, there's a difference between a non-profit and a for-profit school and the way to operate. A for-profit school is not necessarily bad, but it's just operating a certain way. Like, being a 501c3 has a lot of stipulations, what you can and what you can't do. They underwrite some costs. Like, I go to school right now, and I go out there again soon. They make $100 million a year or more, but they also have all the world's diamonds, colored stones, everything that you can think of there. They're a syndicated thing. They're not IGIs, GIA, this, that, and the third. They right away they give away some scholarships, this, that, and third. I'm looking at some of that stuff, but realistically, I think for what they're asking and then what they're trying to do, I don't think they're up with the times. Honestly speaking, truly speaking, even with the way they have a lot of stuff going on, their whole model has changed. Like, if I think about, we all live in a society where I definitely say the cost hasn't gone up at all. I know people, they keep up with the times and the trend in consumer markets. Everybody's a consumer. Everything has to be win-win. Like, if I think about the education I received thus far, I feel like it's great. There's a lot of things I think they could do better. Like, if I think about the average cost of an actual course that I have, is for an assignment is literally around 50. I'm not gonna say 50. It's like doggone $80. $80 per assignment. It's $80. The next thing I have, it's only like the last part of my thing is only like around $6,000, but I gotta make money, like for sure. And I spent a lot of money producing for myself rather than other people producing. I mean, do I have a problem with that? Sure, I do, but in the day, it's not necessarily about that particularly. You can't necessarily dwell on that. You can't really engage with certain stuff. And then, too, a lot of stuff shows lack of professionalism on other people's end. But that's not neither here nor there. And a lot of stuff says a lot about just the industry. We're talking about money, and we're talking about embracing a new type of environment. And another thing I'm still thinking about is taxes. Like, I'm thinking about watches or other stuff like that. People are making money. I know what to pay for something, and I know how much money I like to make on something. It's not that much, but I know I can make $1,000 to $2,000. Or some stuff you definitely do have to make money, but it's not necessarily about that. I'd rather have something have a new home than to absolutely just mess up traditional business. I mean, watches are only a small part of like a jewelry business or jewelry company. Like, a lot of these people, they'll sell someone a narrative of, oh, this is what we paid for it. I don't think a lot of people pay a lot of stuff for this. I mean, if you're buying and no one's selling, maybe someone offloads to a dealer, someone pays for a label or something like that. But past that, there's certain watches that I would not even buy. It could be RM, it could be Vacheron, it could be AP, this, that, and the third. And a lot of people are just hyping up. We've gotten to a point where the limit is, well, I say the ceiling is so high, but execution is so low. They call anything limited edition. And we're thinking about, too, some other stuff going on with accounting or sort of like mergers and acquisitions. Like, there's this company called Watchbox, and he formed with the guy, 3 different companies merged into one. It's called the 1916 company. They had a lot of people. They wound up laying off a lot of people. And honestly, am I disappointed in that? Sure, I am. But like again, a lot of these numbers, people are smoking something. I have no problem saying a lot of people are smoking something with these watches. The watch market is not where it used to be at. We'll never go back to anywhere. I mean, if we're seeing real estate, property values, car values, cars are already terrible investments as is. It's not an investment. And to be honest, a lot of stuff is just overpriced metallurgy. Even with watches, cars included, overpriced metallurgy. Just simple as that. The only thing with a car is just, I feel like, it's finite. Just like life is very finite. Can't do anything about it. Opportunities not necessarily endless. You think about it this way. And we're thinking about just the average, certain stuff like that. A lot of stuff is not a conundrum. Like, whenever I go to a place, I'm not expecting a conundrum, but I'm expecting, above average type of experience. A lot of time you're not getting that. Like, a lot of people, they've literally lost the joy or the experience of what makes a business a business. Like, from A to Z, an introduction, an advancement. And what I mean by an advancement, is strictly, what the company's doing. They're not at a drawing board. A lot of people don't necessarily hungry. They're doing the same tired old stuff. Or, a revision. Let's just say, like, a company, they may use a slogan for this season. They might have done this, that, and the third. Like, with pretty much any company, I guess most people had to change their marketing mix. Like Red Lobster, I was reading the other day, they lost $11 million for endless shrimp. Honestly speaking, Red Lobster does not do a great job of really marketing, in my opinion. That stuff is a loss leader to get butts in the seats. I mean, most restaurant menus are slim pickings, bare bones experience from the servers to the staff, even to the kitchen. A lot of places I wouldn't want to eat at a place where people not getting along, people not engaged, or people not enthusiastic. I'm not necessarily saying enthusiastic about, just the cooking, but I mean, sort of kind of you'll want people in there, but you don't know what's going on with the management or the lack of management, rather, in this type of traditional business. And then you see a lot of businesses or restaurants have to fight to keep their doors open or whatnot, and key and critical people have left, and then people said enough is enough, and people moved on. And unfortunately, with a lot of places, when times are good, people really just don't savor those moments and really take it in or whatnot. And when key and critical people leave, there's not enough good people to replace it. And a lot of people want to go and say foolishness with the workforce. People don't want to go to work. Well, why do people not want to go to work? Or why is it that, in order for a place to be, it requires everybody has to be locked in. Everybody has to pitch in, and everybody has to, believe in a lot of stuff. And people derive profits, unrealistic expectations, sales goals, sales quotas. Like, I watched this guy, he worked for a watch guy in Pennsylvania. They've gone through a lot of craziness. The people, I feel like they're really insane. The stuff they're trying to pull off. I would never work for anybody like them at all. A guy had a stroke, was 34 years old, international dude. They used him up, basically, said, they made a slogan for him, or deals, Geneva deals, or something like this. Guy's from Geneva. He was like 34, had a stroke, and the guy was doing a sales position. The guy said, "You're not working as hard as enough. Are you out of your mind?" Like, I started watching those guys. Those guys are clowns. And then like they let 3 people go. They didn't pay the people the money. They had all these sales accounts. They did all this type of stuff. But I think with the watches and what they're doing, I don't think their business is really going to be valued the same. And there had a lot of hotbed controversy for somebody that dealt with in the past or had a business relationship. There's like 3 people, 3 ongoing people dealing with this guy in Beverly Hills or LA, where he literally stole $5 million of people's actual property and or engaged people in making a form or whatnot with consignment or redefining what consignment is. So we're going to give you 8%. We're going to give you this, that, and the third. We're going to give you 5. We're going to take 5%. We're going to give you 100. Well, someone's going to sign a waiver and send a label or certain stuff like that and be entrusted with a $100,000 watch or more, or thousands of dollars of a watch or whatnot. And they're going to go from there, and we're going to get between 5 and 8%. The guy would offload other dealers who wouldn't get paid right away. It was a Ponzi scheme. The guy's been arrested by the FBI. This, that, and the third. A lot of people in a hotbed of controversy. Yeah. But yeah, let me get back to what I'm saying. Like the guy, he stole $3 million, between 3 and 5 million. I think it's more like 5. But yeah, he stole $5 million. He had people consign watches, send people this, that, and the third. He had investors. He had all this stuff. He had people up under him. They had no idea he stole certain stuff like that. He was basically paying for friends. I think the guy was crazy. I mean, yeah, I feel like he was crazy. He was a legitimate guy, this, that, and the third. He just ruffled a lot of feathers. I'm not on his side by any means. He needs to pay for what he did. But he was also involved with shady dealers themselves. There was this guy in Florida, he buys stolen watches, or he buys fake watches or part real watches and puts fake stuff in there. He had like a guy, a legitimate guy who runs a website. I died. I was talking too much. But that's not the point. I didn't do that bad that game. The experience for a lot of people, especially buying watches and buying jewelry. Wow, there was a guy right there. I don't really think it's really that great. Now, you go to New York City, they might have good deals. But I don't think that New York City is the premier destination for jewelry, even though it kind of is, it kind of isn't. Because if you really go to a place like Oman or Qatar or Dubai, I feel like Oman and Qatar are a whole lot better than Dubai. Those places really hold on their stuff. I feel like they really have the value of what makes a country, at least in that type of life or Islamic life. They're the ones staying true to that particular thing. Dubai is just kind of a billionaire's playboy type of lifestyle. it's secularists is doing all this stuff. Particularly, people are going over there. There's a lot of foolishness, tomfoolery going on, and Dubai is inviting scammers, people, just a lot of other foolishness. I mean, that could be anywhere though. But I think Dubai can have its own problems, and I mean, we got to look at a lot of stuff on what makes a place a failed state or not a failed state, in my opinion. Do we have people with a value thing of citizenship? Like, I've seen a lot of people go out here and say Saudi Arabia is the next hub for an entrepreneur, or it's a different hub for someone in the medical field, because they have all these different type of stuff out there, programs for people like foreigners. But the only thing I would say is a language barrier, religion, this, that, and the third. And then two is how much can I wouldn't say necessarily is there anything wrong with like Saudi Arabia particularly, in my opinion. I just think it's become something that's absolutely insane. How we basically become to a place where we're literally talking about, we're making an entertainment hub. We're creating all this type of stuff. We're creating an entertainment hub. We're having all this different stuff happening. We have boxing. We have PGA. We have WWE. We have all this stuff going on. And then at the forefront, the entertainment or something's being derived. I go back to what I'm saying, like Dubai or Qatar. I mean, Qatar is a little bit more of, how can I say, it's a little bit more based in actual, how can I say, traditional stuff. Dubai is, again, a place that's kind of been socially constructed to be a party hub of a Gulf state, I would say, in my opinion. I know people say that the UAE was still up there as, developing as an emerging place to go in the 70s. I would say no. I mean, for a while, I would say Iran was originally the place to go in the 70s. It had a much better reputation. Iran in the 1970s, believe it or not, had a better reputation. You had presidents, you had celebrities go to Iran, this, that, and the third. How can I put it this way? A lot of stuff has changed. I mean, communications and language barrier, imports, exports, trade restrictions, and then politics or ideologies, really, when you think about it. And we're not necessarily ensuring that, particularly for the most part, enterprise, imports and exports, global growth. Wow, he's off. That's crazy. I'll possibly play, probably two more, but I'll get to the point with a lot of stuff I'm saying. Like, if we are talking about two hubs or particular places, a lot of people are going and getting their watches from, I'm going to say, Vietnam, Hong Kong, let's think about it. Europe. I don't think Switzerland has that many watches. And all the stuff goes through Asia. And we're talking about, like, you know, Asia, Australia. Australia is not necessarily a major hub for watches, I would say. Japan, that's Asia. I mean, it's strategic. California does not necessarily have that many watches, in my opinion. That's just my opinion again. I say New York, Hong Kong. I say it's Hong Kong, it's New York. I'm gonna say Hong Kong, Singapore, New York are traditional hubs of jewelry, in my opinion. Thailand's not up there. Thailand's actually for gemstones, in my opinion. Watches, no. But back to what I'm saying about, like, you know, watches and places people be going. Like, I probably might watch a few watch videos and go to sleep. But I keep up with the watches. Watch market is not where it used to be at by a long shot. I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to endure this type of storm in terms of what they're paying, what they basically have allotted, and what they can get stuff for. A lot of stuff really comes down to lifestyle inflation. If a lot of people are going to go with these trips and, you know, expand locations, more power to them. Like, I'm not going to call out a particular place, a particular dealer, this, that, and the third. But I know there's a guy, he has too many stores. Has Miami, Las Vegas, New York City. I think he opened up another one. He has like 2 stores in LA. He has well, I was going to say it's named like Risk Aficionado. I'm a fan of the brand, but I searched some things up and I found this guy's doing risky business or something like that. He didn't pay his employees. And he settled out of court. Like, lady wasn't paid overtime. She wasn't paid $60,000. And her bills or whatnot were, she sued them. They just settled out of court. That was a while back, like 3 years ago. I'm still thinking about, too, with all these companies and enterprises, they're not doing nearly enough to... Then another thing I'm thinking about too, if we're talking about jewelry, custom jewelry, I feel like it's okay. It just depends. Like, a lot of people are going and paying for the name, not necessarily the experience or who's going to do a great job. It just depends on the name. I mean, I'm a fan of the name of certain places, sure, but I mean, there's just a certain handful of names that I will say, you get what you paid for. Sometimes the premium doesn't exist. Like, there's a difference between the Bay Area jewelry and their standard jewelry versus New York jewelry versus Miami. You know, there's just a level of business, if you can say, that people, or type of allure that you're basically getting. I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with the name. I'd rather go with a name that's kind of been over the years rather than someone who's up and coming. That's just my personal opinion. And the thing I like about jewelry, the reason why I chose jewelry, because at the end of the day, whatever you create, you can cash out. Whatever you create, you can cash out. Like, if you have a kilo chain or something like that, you have gold or scrap gold that you have, you can melt that down. You have 100% guaranteed out. You have a guaranteed out. All the gold that you don't use, you melt it down. You go to a refiner, you get your money. But I know I have a long-term plan. Like, honestly speaking, if I think about, the general sphere of jewelry and the economy of places, I want to say LA is a particular place for a certain type of individual. I will never live in LA. I don't think I could live in California personally, particularly because of the politics and the crime. And I don't think it has anything to do with education. I mean, a lot of places that get old, once people see the allure of it, and, a lot of people are not able to endure that storm. Like, any money that you basically have in LA is going to be gone. And we're not careful. The thing about social media that's gotten really toxic is that the standard of living or the standard of etiquette is really changed across the board. Like, who would think that, I'm going to say, we have people out here paying, I'm going to say, $80 for crab legs, $50 for a seafood boil. We have people paying $50 for, I'm going to say, unlimited mimosas or certain stuff like that, or $60 a brunch spot. All this stuff is contributing to why people are going broke. And realistically speaking, there's nothing wrong with someone going to have a mimosa every now and again when everybody's doing it or everybody's edifying this type of lifestyle where lifestyle inflation, particularly speaking, where we're going and spending $20,000 in the strip club, or we're going out and spending $10,000 in bottles. I'm sitting in the VIP, or I'm going and getting food, or I'm going out here getting chicken wings. I'm going to put stuff on my tab. I'm going out here and putting stuff on a card, credit card, running it up. All that stuff is going to end soon. And when we're talking consumerism at a very early age, or we're not necessarily respecting our money and our time is very finite, we're going to have to embrace the fact that each year our body is going to be completely different. How we manage stress, how we manage the expectations of other people. Because some people are going to come around when we're pretty much not at our growth phase. That's just what happens. I might have one game after this, so I'm getting off for sure. That scared the hell out of me, I'm not going to lie. I felt anxiety with that one. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of problems with particularly business ethics, or anything in between with that. Morals, ethics, internal, external problems. Now let's say there's not any redeemable qualities in business nowadays. It's just not. Like, I see this guy, they follow me on Instagram. They're like the biggest watch dealers in Texas. Then the guy that they had, he follows me every now and again. He follows me. He's from France. I think they played him bad. I would say to his face, they played him bad. They played him bad, but he seems doing well. I'm kind of glad he's still doing well, but he's on his own, doing his own thing. But he got played. But I feel like he came out better from it because, I mean, the two of the guys, they got robbed. They were posting too much on the internet, and they at this store, they put a customer in their son, it was like 10, had a gun basically put to the back of his head, and they had a store in an actual like shopping center. I mean, they pretty much been safe since then, but before they were just posting too much about what they do. They showed how much money they had on deck. They showed, you know, they were carrying large amounts of cash. You know, they had nice cars. I mean, they worked hard for it. I'm not mad about that. I know my time is coming, but nah. They're on private jets. Nah, they're well off. They're Jehovah's Witness. That's the only thing that I would, I have necessarily, I can respect people's different religious beliefs, but I don't like proselytizing. They tend to do good, but again, I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I just don't agree with that. And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, with what they did and then how they're conducting business, I'm going to watch them after. I don't really have a problem with them at all. But I think the only thing with their business and how they're operating, that's going to have to change. They should have a security guard. They're armed down. The guy has a concealed carry permit. Honestly, I think once you're making a certain type of money and you're already in the industry where you pretty much want to get robbed, believe it or not, you gotta be smart about where you're going, how much information you're rallying across the internet, and then making sure you stick to I would almost say a solitary lifestyle in a particular sense that, you know, endurance, safety, education, and precautions. And then, like, you know, not necessarily precautions, let's say, your itinerary. You should never post your itinerary or, you know, how can I say, your residuals. You should never post your residuals or anything like that. That should be very private or guarded information. I mean, I know these guys are smoking something. In particular, a lot of these watches have lost value. Like, I think some watches are beautiful. I think some of them are pieces of art. But again, I'm not paying a premium when the premium doesn't exist. I'm going to leave because this isn't a great circle. But the premium truly doesn't exist for some of these watches. Like, you know, a 51, like 64, like, you know, OR or something like that. That watch is literally around $79,000 and dropping. It was $120,000, but let's say, for instance, a Celestial Patek Philippe, $333,000. I don't think it's $333,000. It depends on the case, the material, and how many were made, and then how complete the set is. For the gold one, it's like retail, it's like $333, but the market price is $269 and going low. Anytime people say a lot of stuff is being discontinued, I think that a lot of stuff will be discontinued, but it doesn't mean the price is going up. I mean, there's outliers and certain stuff like, you know, you have Akrivia, Regepi. He makes, I say, decent watches. He was like a FP Jorn Protege, Epi Jordan's going down. Regepi pretty much sold out. You can't get it. That watch in itself is not necessarily going to, how can I put it this way? It's not going towards any retailer or anything like that, or atelier or anything like that. It's its own manufacturer. It's kept in-house. They're controlling the production. These watches are not even really $1 million, I don't think. I think they're around $400,000. If I'm going to spend $400,000 on a watch, it's not going to be RM. Honestly speaking, I'll probably get a Google 4C. I'll be perfectly fine with that. I can get 2 Google 4Cs for like, $180. If I had an ideal watch collection, it would be like 1 RM. I don't really care for Rolex at all. I'm just not a big fan. It has nothing to do with the stuff. I don't think you should be waiting 6 years for a stainless steel watch, or having a watch that stainless steel costs $57,000. And you got to buy jewelry, all this other foolishness. That is crazy. I think the day dates are cool. Me personally, I might own a day date a few. I can own a lot of day dates, but I would never wear them. I would never wear them like that. I will own Rolex, but I would never really wear them. Not my favorite brand, and let's think about it too. I mean, I like the date just a little bit, but again, not necessarily the most. Yeah, a watch doesn't have to be that expensive, in my opinion, to be a great watch. It depends. I don't like something that's really identifiable. I think Japanese watches are great. They have this guy named Hida. He makes some watches out in Japan. He makes a lovely chronometer. I'll be very interested in buying that. It's gold. It's around $20,000. I don't really care about the retail price. I mean, it's nice. No one knows what it is. Something different. Something not necessarily gaudy, too out there. Really just one of those watches that flies under the radar. I got some out of this world watches. And too, if we're thinking about other aspects of the economy, everybody's pitching in with brands or certain stuff like that, like Bamford Watch Department. They have a great collaboration with brands. Like, I feel like for the most part, their watches are pretty decent. They partner up with Omega, Franck Muller, or anything like that. I think my first watch I'll get more in depth will be a Franck Muller. I feel like it's a great watch. I'm trying to get this watch. It's a blue dial, limited edition. I'm going to try to get a job, definitely buy it. I feel like I need something for my wrist, and I definitely need, I feel like a better type of wardrobe that is. And, a lot of stuff. I think I want to be focusing more on mental well-being, and then also the diet. It's one of the things we're trying to get under control for 2024. Is the mental well-being, and then the diet, and then controlled environments. Like, I think if we're living in a society where the metric doesn't exist, we're having people telling people what the standard of beauty or essence or, certain stuff like that. A lot of people are not necessarily going particularly to do certain things, and I don't expect anybody to do anything for me. I'm just gonna start acting in my own interest, particularly. Not saying anything crazy like scamming people or anything like that. No, I feel like it's better to act on your interests or your instincts. Like, if I work on watches, I mean, I've done a lot of research. There's a school in Miami that basically teaches people watchmaking for like a year. They give people a living stipend. I'm gonna work, for a few years. Go do that, live in Miami probably for a year or something like that. Make some connections. Probably work along with somebody for a period of time, and I'm gonna, save my money, do what I need to do, and plan my next steps from there. But past that, I mean, realistically speaking, I don't think a lot of stuff will exist the way a traditional business exists. What I mean by that is traditional overhead for companies is really a thing of the past if we're talking about space. If people say the internet is the most powerful tool that people have, I would agree to disagree with that statement because literally the internet is what's wrong with a lot of things like e-commerce. We have people drop shipping. We have people from a click of a button for an internet connection saying something as journalism or saying stuff as music or essence of music and then leveraging that. I'm not necessarily mad about that, but I feel like from a traditional stance of what we think about how we consume stuff is going to have to change a lot. Like for instance, OnlyFans was originally created for people, celebrities to use to connect with people, but the first one to really be out there was FanKey. You had Fan Central, you had all these different stuff, and then you had, people doing certain stuff like that. And, the platforms of these places don't exist. These don't. Like, we think about how we're consuming music now, streaming services, or even us playing video games, we literally do not own any of the content that we buy, we purchase. We're literally streaming the stuff at a digital library where if our account or something gets suspended, or something happens, or we get hacked, or something as catastrophic as that, it ceases to be acknowledged. Yeah, there's stuff I want to watch, like to watch videos, educate myself on some watches, the prices, anything really. I want to go from there. Like, honestly speaking, I hope that I have a better, few years. The last 5 have been, I'll say a little bit rough. Well, yeah, if we're talking about like, watches or anything like that, the watch business is, I say, is easy. If you know the reference number, what you paid, make sure the stuff works, make sure stuff's authentic. Um, Honestly speaking, with a lot of these people, I wouldn't even say a lot of stuff is slider condition watches. I don't think a lot of stuff is considered slider. Something's unworn. With me, it's gonna be unworn. Like, again, if I had, let's say, a budget of $700,000, and I had a watch collection, what would I make? My first watch would definitely be the Frank Mueller. It's like $11,000. I wanna also put up there a Grubel 40, maybe. It's probably one of them. I'd probably say a Balancier Convex. It's probably like 400. Let's see. But yeah, RM, it just depends. I saw RM today for like $69,000. I think that's pretty fair. RM is falling, and I feel like they're a great buy. I don't expect it to go up. If it goes up, it goes up. I don't think I would sell my watches. It's not in the business of selling my own personal collection. It's just not. It's not for me. Really selling anything that you worked hard for, not a fan of. And I think another thing that I'm really getting tired of is I feel like, there's just certain aspects in the watch business or watch collection that's just terrible. And then, oh yeah, I'll put that Hito watch definitely in there as well. I'm already at like, what, 400,000. I put a VC overseas. That's like 21,000. I'll put a date just in there. It's like 9,000. So, let's see. What's another watch I could get? I want to say RM per se. I try to get something that's, at least unique. I think RM is unique. They're my favorite watch brand that's like small in a traditional sense. Small as in, that's their case size. But for the intricate, people say it's like toy watch. Do I think all RMs are hit? No. I don't really like all RMs, but I think they're okay. I know people say the cost is crazy. I would say the cost is a little bit crazy, but I think about it. I forgot a lot of stuff is the case size, it's the craftsmanship, there's also the retail spots. Are they paying for overhead? They're paying for someone's salary. And RM basically gives out a lot of money to the foundation. So I'm not necessarily mad that RM costs a lot of money. As long as they're giving back, they're being strategic with their partnerships, and they're making sure that other areas or places are getting developed. I think that's pretty good. Like Jackie Chan is sponsored by RM. Johan Blake is sponsored by RM. And he's definitely focusing more so on the actual aspect of making sure the athletes or people in, how can I put it, upcoming athletes in Jamaica are having a safe facility or, rehabbing injuries. And whatnot, and building upon that. Yeah, there's the thing about like I think watch brands. I don't really consider certain places. It's not because certain stuff is cheap. I don't consider a lot of stuff as a watch brand. What? I died? That's crazy. Alright, good night, y'all.